Alright guys, so I had modeled the other concept last time and everyone seemed to enjoy that, so I decided to save the second one for this stream. So we'll be doing that today. And then probably end up bringing both of them in to the game as well towards the end. I want to try to run a little bit longer than normal with this stream since I missed Mondays. Okay, so I feel like this one's not going to be as complex, which I'm okay with. How do I want to do this? I think I'm going to make the dome first. Oops, that's not what I wanted to put. There we go. Those could probably go in even more. Okay, so that's the inner portion of it. And these are these column. Except these are going to be a little fun to play with, I'm sure. Actually, no, this shouldn't be too bad. Oops. I think they were closer there. Alright. Let's get these on the grid. They're close enough that me not moving a couple of these vertices isn't going to really screw up the angles on the angular side. But I can get these to lock up nice and neatly. This way. Hey Nordam, how's it going? Excuse me. Hey Zukin. Going well, how are you? I'm doing pretty good today. Yeah, just working on some modeling, but other than that, I'm doing fine. Going to have you on in the background, busy day at work. But I hear you. Having some background noise is always nice. Hey, Rishitari, how are you doing? Oops. Let's go to the extreme. I know I want this to be at the top. Now find the halfway point. Bring that in for now. I can always, again, add more subdivisions if needed, but keep it on the chunky side. Okay. So let's see, that's 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so that's in the middle. So that's 2.5. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. These ones I think I'm going to end up having to add to subdivide one more time, because those do not look too hot. Okay, so let's find the midpoints. Kind of clear that silhouette just a bit. This is going to need to end in a point, so I think, if I remember correctly, I did this. Yeah, okay, we're good. So let's make this into a pole. I usually try to avoid poles, but it works for something like this. Baldur's Gate music? No, but actually I should add that track. I need to I started playing the early access of the third one a couple months back. I need to actually go back through and actually finish that. I've enjoyed the little bit of what's been released so far. But no, this is Morrowind. Kind of the same thing to me. Yeah, I hear you. A lot of them will sound similar. Let's see. Yeah, it follows it up. Now here's... I have to make a decision where do I want these to actually align or do I not? Oop, that was too far. I'll play with this one. works. Let's see what these look like. Bridged. Oops. You're not gonna bridge? Those ones are bridge. Those ones don't want to. But I'll do it that way. I love algorithms in modeling programs sometimes. Tried Baldur's Gate a little, couldn't get into it. The new one or the original? I need to... I don't think I ever finished the original. Which I need to at some point. The new one, the third one, is... again, it's in early access, so it's... very much not complete. I think you only get like 4 levels. But I mean, I played a couple days worth and still hadn't beaten it. It's pretty enjoyable. I mean, it's straight up like playing 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, just on the computer. Cool, that worked. Alright, so that's the method I'm going to use. I was worried slightly that there might be some funkiness with the edges, but they appear to be good. So let's just do that to the other ones. I suppose I could just duplicate and extract and everything like that, but I will just do it this way. Hold on a second. There is an issue there. Come on, snap. Oh, there's nothing to snap to. Darn it. Alright. We'll bring that back to the original spot. We'll do them all at once. See if we can get it to fit or fix it that way. But oh shoot. There we go. Oops. Right. Okay. So now these. Snap to those. Like so. I suppose actually I could just do a fill hole on this and then just do this. That way I don't have to deal with bridge deciding like I'll do this edge and this edge, but I won't do that edge and that edge, even though they're still bridging the same spot. Actually, just do fill hole in the entire mesh. Why not? Why is it being funky? Oh, I didn't delete the back faces. That would do it. Cool. Alright, so now, which one is it that I have to fix? The top. So let's grab all these edges. To reset my pivot, but fortunately there's nothing to snap to here, so as close as we're gonna get. And that's actually close enough that the hard edges don't even read hard edges. Awesome. Cool. So we've got that part of it. That part doesn't actually affect the silhouette, but it does have a kind of trim for the top. Obviously, you know, we still need to create our environment, a lot of our environment textures. We've been basically just using, oops, I forgot to reset that. There we go. Because we've been basically just using the same, like, 3 or 4 textures, so. Eventually, we will need more. I'm going to give myself the line for the trim once we have it. And let's make this material slightly transparent. So I can mark this stuff out again. Actually, let me bring back Tower 2's door. So we can have something that kind of marks it out. And it's always nice when you already have geo that you know is to a scale you want, because you can just snap it. Snap stuff to it. It's a little easier when you don't just put a transparency, or not transparency, but like play with the transparency of the material you're using. Okay, so now I can hide that. So now I have a representation of where the door will need to be. Alright, so let's get the window in. Probably need to be scaled down a pinch. So let's just move it down to here. And there. Oh, I know what's going on. I was like, why is this line still here? It's because there's an edge on the other side. My brain normally doesn't have problems with that stuff. And it was just like, what's going on? Soften. triangles, but the... Loop's running off the side. So... I guess I'll just run these along. Whoop. There we go. These ones look better with it triangulated. He's not aligned? Why are they acting like that? No, they look it. Yeah, they're fine. Normals are just acting weird. To see how it looks in the game, I may have to do something different for that, but we'll see. If it's not an issue in the game, I'm not going to spend a ton of time sitting here trying to fix it. I can also cover it up real quickly with the lintel that goes above it. Oops. Okay. Line up as close as I can. That's close. That's gonna be as close as I'm gonna get. Alright. So now let's... Oops. Invert this so I can see it on the inside. Grab the side of the window, delete it. And there. So now it's already lined up the same plane as the other window. So I should just be able to snap this stuff straight over sideways. Edge is no longer needed. Ooh. Apparently I deleted that face. I did not want to delete. Faces looks good. Let's screwed up that whole. Sounds normal. Great. Again, we'll see if it's something that's going to translate over, or if it's just Maya being weird, because Maya does like to be weird. Okay. So I got this interior piece that's zeroed out. Let's put this over here. Actually, no. Let's... Sometimes my eyes swear... Alright, so I need to move these down. Essentially move this stuff down a bit. Nope, not all of it. Let's... There we go. So it at least has the interior now. It's not going to be perfect, and it's not going to be something we can actually traverse around inside of, but it'll be there. And I can later on go in and make it more traversable. I have a feeling the scale of this is going to need to be played with. Like, the radius of it is going to need to be a little bit wider if we do want this to be a something that you can actually like get up into the dome, if that's what we decide to do with it. Because right now it looks cool, but I think it's probably a little too slim. Unless it's just like a ladder up. But again, there's no like floor or anything in it. So I have a feeling it's just going to be more like a decorative element up. If we can go in, it'll just be like a one floor. Type thing. Fill a hole, and it's gonna break it. I'm also going to bring this down. And scale it so again it's more kind of a straight up. Maybe I'll leave it. Let's see how this work out. Oops, sorry, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, so I've got some thickness there. Slightly. Cool. Yeah, I could probably move that down a little bit. And we will soften those. Okay, I guess it wasn't a merge thing. Connected. All right. Let's see. Actually, this is going to be way easier. I'll just do this. Oops. Nope. Those. Cool. That's pretty good. And then need to select this to our ground plane. Whoops, deleted. Bring back your second tower. Those three. Those. Did I? Hold on. Are there two of these here? Okay, let's turn off the second one. I think I'm selecting the other one. I should just do it this way. What's going on? Oops. Helps if you're holding the right hotkey. Okay, now I can just pull this step off. 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Yeah, these towers are going to need to be wider for sure. Oops. Okay, let's lay these out UV wise. See, part of me wants to actually like build that in, but part of me is also saying just wait. Because if I do scale this up, I'm going to have to fix all that later anyway. So I'm just going to wait on the doors. Again, I don't think these are super important to be traversable at this second. It's more about getting the look and the feel. That should already be laid out. Let's do a quick. Oops, let's actually bring this up so you guys can see. These all, oops, this one item up there, actually. I thought I had Zelikos, which is apparently I had not. Okay, so we got those. These will also need to be cube maps. This should already be, this just needs to be unfolded. Let me double check and see my unfold didn't reset again. Okay, no it didn't. Those and stitch them right there. Again, I'm not super worried about where the stuff is laid out. I'm just right now more worried about getting it laid out flat. So that is our dome. This is the interior. Let's keep it at that size for now. And we'll just do half and half. Let's leave that for now. That should be good for now. This is... Wow, why did... Oh, shoot. When I was cleaning up the other edge, apparently I accidentally selected that one. But that is part of the reason you always model to a grid. Cool. Okay. Makes it easier to fix weird stuff like that if you accidentally break something without realizing it. Let's remap those. Now they make more sense. Cool. So that should be good, although that's going to need to be scaled down. This is my interior. And this is going to need... same thing, so we'll just select this face right here, cube map that, and then, I mean I could have planar mapped it too, but I like cube map because it just does it from all the angles where I'd have to like manually adjust the settings for the other one. Okay, so I got the floor as well. That's weird. Let's take a look at this. My guess would be that this is not... Yeah, that's not stretched. That's very stretched. Why is my tool not working? Right, that is annoying. Unfold not working on that? Well, those are squares now, so that's good. Or close enough to squares. But that was really weird. That one worked fine. Although it's inverted. But that's because I reversed the normals. And we will... I'm just going to kind of set these in a UV space. And again, for anyone who hasn't seen any of my ones before, because we don't have the actual textures in here, are created that we want to use for these right now, I'm not stressing too much about the placement of the UVs, and I'm actually kind of just placing them out into open space where they're not overlapping other things, just to make it easier to see and select. That way when I or like Goblin or somebody comes in to line them up nicely with like the actual textures, it's easy to see where everything already is. So let's grab these and stitch those together. So it's easier to see. Is YouTube yelling at me? No, we're good. Okay. So again, I'm going to leave the doorway out of this. I am... trying to think how I want to do this. Gonna add in a couple materials, I think, so that like the tower, the dome, the interior, and then like whatever the windows and stuff can all have their own materials thrown on. So let's do that real quick. Actually, we'll just... I think I'll sign it to everything, on this one at least. So we'll sign wall, and then just grab the dome ones and assign dome. And save. And spell it correctly. There we go. Alright, so we have that. And like I said, these need to be scaled up for sure. But I'm gonna do it on this one first. Because right now, like, I could fit a ladder in here. Oops. Hold on. Oops. I thought I combined these. Apparently I did not. There we go. There we go. Let's back down here though. So this would be 8. Hey Squid Pasta, how's it going? Cool. Alright, so that looks pretty good. There's actually like room in the tower at this, so that's 2.6. We'll just call it 2.6. Alright, so you can see how much scaling that up is going to affect. I mean, this window now is completely out of scale too. Now that I'm thinking about it, ugh. Yeah, this window is gigantic now. Going pretty good. Just procrastinating at work. What you working on today? I'm finishing up the towers that I was working on Friday. I kind of saved those for this stream since everyone was interested in watching me work in Maya last week. I figured I'd save more Maya work for today. And then after this is done, I'm going to pop over to the game, and we'll just kind of throw them in and see how they look. And then from there, find something else to work on. Alright. So this lintel is way bigger. That's what happens when you scale it in all directions. Maybe I should just go back. No, because then I would just make it really, really wide and not very tall. Anybody playing on this new Vanguard EMU server? Yeah, just like Zukin said, it's been around for a while. I remember getting excited for it and popping in like right around then when it first was up, and you couldn't do anything. Like, it was basically like, hey, we have a server up. Half the skill, like more than half the skills didn't even work, and I was like, I'll come back later. I played around on it a little bit. I haven't like seriously gotten into playing it, but Zukin's part of the development team, I believe. You're being chased by a tree. Now, is this it? Was this a like an ant or a heron, or is this just a tree decided to follow you after you chopped it down? Oh, these are. You know what? I just noticed. I forgot to do the windows on the domes. Just a wood harvest tree that fought back. Oh, Vanguard. Okay, so we got this one. Oh, I combined the meshes. That's why it's not attached anymore. But yeah, Shatari, I probably will play it here and there on it. I just have not had the time. And this is where, whoops, not 0.26. Oh my gosh, come on. 2.6, there we go. This is where I've now created an issue for myself on this first one, because now I can scale it better, but this doorway that I spent time on is not going to work anymore. Oh. What I get. This is a simple thing too. I should have just scaled it properly to start, and I didn't. And this one's angled, so this is gonna be a little bit trickier to fix. But it is cool that more people are learning about the existence of the Vanguard EMU. Since, was it Nathan that did the videos on it. But definitely cool to see it start to get some attention. Ooh, that was not what I wanted to do there. Yikes. I screwed that up. Okay, we're just going to remove the door. Are you playing at Dishrutari? And if so, what class are you playing? Vanguard had some really awesomely designed classes. I didn't get to the high end, so maybe they didn't hold up as well at high end, but I really enjoyed the Blood Mage. And I like that we want to try to bring a little bit of the Blood Mage into our Necromancer, which is kind of cool. Although it's obviously not going to be a one-for-one type of a situation. Definitely because we don't have a defensive target in our game. Yeah, definitely. Especially some of the team members that didn't get a chance to play it as much, or didn't play it. There's definitely some stuff in Vanguard that was really good. I was so bummed when that game did not meet its potential. I tried playing a little bit after I think I started playing. It was me, my brother, my ex-wife, and one of her work friends' boyfriends. Let's see, I was playing the Ranger, and then he was doing a Psionicist. And we were able to duo some whatchamacallits. Some dungeons that we probably should not have been able to duo. Granted, that was mostly because he could charm. But I'll pretend that I had something to do with that. And my ex's Necro made it really easy to kite. Like, the two of us would just duo, or if she wasn't playing. Because I was the last of the four of us to continue playing. I would just, like, box her Necro and shoot with the Ranger. It worked pretty well. Or I'd kite with the Ranger. Or no. Did I kite with it? I kited with the Ranger and just dotted with the Necro. And then when it was needed, I would kite with the Necro, like when aggro would swap. Was thinking about trying it. Never played the game. Oh, I would definitely check it out then. If you've never tried it. Like I said, there's some really cool class designs and stuff in that game for sure. Like I said, I really enjoyed the Blood Mage. I generally do not play main healers. Like, I'll play, like, Shaman or something like that, as, like, an off healer. Or when I played Lotro, I played a Captain as my main. I started out as a Hunter, obviously, because Ranger. Which now they have a Ranger class, I think. Or they're getting a Ranger class in that game. But anyways, I started out, and then my brother and ex-wife started playing, so I made a captain to level along with her minstrel, which is basically like the cleric of that game. And really kind of like enjoyed the class, so I was like, cool, I'll just stick with this class. And that class is essentially, for anyone who's never played Lotro, is a combo. Oops. I hit the right button. There we go. Is a combo of a paladin and a shaman, essentially. But played that as an off healer for the most part. Off healer and buffer is how I played it. And then I also had a high level rune keeper in that game, which is the only other class that can main heal that I've enjoyed playing, besides Blood Mage. Actually, let's do it this way. We will apply wall to everything. But Runekeeper was weird because it was like it was basically a heal over time class, like a healer, which I never. Well, I take it back. Captain was really heal over time, but Captain was more of a melee healer, and like I said, it was more of a like a secondary healer type class. But yeah, Runekeeper was cool because you could do either damage or healing, but you had to like attune yourself to what you were doing, so it took a little bit longer to build up to the bigger ones. But I definitely enjoyed that class too. Oops. Oop, that was not good. Yeah, what Zukin said, it's definitely worth checking out. But that was definitely a case of a game that had too much scope, in my opinion. Obviously, you know, I don't know all the things that happened, but I know scope was one of the things that was mentioned frequently on Sean's streams as being a contributing factor to what happened. I'm gonna leave this window gigantic for now, but I need to fix it at some point. Okay, so we got those. Zukin, do you know, does the team plan, and when I say the team, I'm talking about the Vanguard EMU team, are they planning on creating custom content after they have all of the original content in, and kind of fill out some of the areas that were more barren? I didn't play when it was sunset, but I remember reading that some of the areas were still kind of content desert-esque. What am I doing? FBX. Oops, if I don't have caps lock on. Oh my goodness. And this is listed as, I think, oops, Tower 2. Just exported that one. And I'll export out this one. Oops, let's actually name this first. There are areas where we have no information, so we'll have to rewrite content on our own as well. Okay. Yeah, I imagine that game isn't as well documented as like EverQuest. Just because the population fell off so quickly. And then obviously the game isn't live anymore, so you can't run around and like parse stuff and all that fun type of thing. Alright, so let me do a fetch. Okay, we're good. Hop into the game and bring them in and see how they look structurally. Again, the one window is going to be ridiculously large. I need to fix that. I should have modeled it initially at that scale. I don't know what I was thinking. It doesn't help that the game has changed so much throughout its life cycle, so even things that are documented may not be accurate from the era they were replicating. Yeah, there's that too. So I have done some other work off stream in here. I started playing around with some more of these cities. I started playing with some of the houses. I really need to go through and do a pass on all of them. So that there's like actual like playable space in them. and then we can make adjustments from there. And then I built this facade to the temple that's in the mountain. I think it came out pretty cool. I'm debating adding a... I need to reduce the number of edges that carry through there. But anyways, I'm debating adding a... kind of like an extrusion out that would actually let players like come up here and like look over, but I may just keep it like this where it's a facade. So there could potentially be like a little kind of like doorway kind of coming out of that. And if that's the case, you know, there'll be some sort of, you know, like play space that kind of brings you up to here to kind of like, whoops, not look out there, but like come up here. It does give kind of a nice view though, so I might do it. We'll see. Okay, so let's Night Harbor buildings, import. Where did I just put this? There we go. Okay. So let's generate colliders on these. And then I'm just going to throw, hold on, that one only has one material? Alright, what did I do with these materials? Let's go back in. Alright, let's do this again. Select. Wall mat. Dome. Export. Everything has the wall. Those have the dome. Selection 2. Okay. And I'm just gonna delete and re-import. I do not know why Unity messes with me. What? Why is it still materials are embedded inside the imported texture? Why is this not showing the other material? Okay, let's actually... This is because it's seeing Lamberts, and I didn't actually throw anything on the Lamberts. Let's try this again. I'm actually just grabbing 2 of the textures. Where's the one that I reworked? Alright, so that one. folder. Just throw this one on there for now. Okay. Let's try this again. Delete all my tab history. File. Exports. Oh, that's why. I'm an idiot. It helps if you're exporting them with the right file format. I was using OBJ because I was using that to export out the stuff for printing my Ranger 1.5 2.0. And was not using FBX like I thought I was. Oops, hold on. Mr. Tuxagit, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. And welcome to the stream. Okay, so let's export this one. And we'll try this one more time. I think those... Come on. Hold on, let me go into the folder. Unity's not letting me see what file type it is. This is saying 3D. Guess I know it's a 3D file, but I'd like to know if it's an OBJ or an FBX. Times. So those are the OBJ. Oops, nope, that was the wrong button. Those should be the right ones. Yay, there we go. Okay. Well, that took longer than it should have. Alright, let's go find our materials. Worlds. That's the one I wanted, right? No, that was not the one I wanted. That was... Now where was I? Models, where are you? Structures and Habor. That's that one. I could just look at my material palette. Where are you? 4. 4 is the one I want. That one's already replied. Sweet. Okay. So let's take a look. Oh, those are definitely larger. Maybe I do want to keep them shrunk down a little bit. Radius wise. Oop, I forgot to zero those out. So that was what I modeled them at. Which actually works for like if it's just gonna be a small tower like that. That actually works. Actually, the 1.5 isn't too bad. How does 2 look? 2 actually looks pretty good too. So maybe I'll shrink it down just a pinch. This looks pretty good. Actually, let's just kind of play around with this a little bit. Let's go to Goblins Concepts. Pretty sure I downloaded this when I did. Let's kind of play around with the Skyline from out here. Actually, yeah, that'd be about around that area. So, in here, maybe... I'm gonna be fighting a sneeze for the next couple minutes, I apologize. Nope. I need to fix the pivots for these two, because the pivots are like way up there. Or no, I'm not on the pivot, that's why. One. Yeah, I think what I'm going to end up doing is making a couple versions of these with different, like, some with doors, some without, some with, some at certain, at different scales. Ooh, it's raining. No. Yeah, definitely gonna play around with the like different scales on these, because I can't just some of these will be chopped shorter too. So like obviously with this I can't push this in here, and it's gonna need to be remade anyways. So like me turning this into a pro builder mesh and then like cropping this off is just a waste of time. Because I'm going to export it out and stuff anyways. So I can do that, but I can't just be like, well, I'm going to do this at 1. Well, yes, it's shorter, but then it's going to change the dome. That does look kind of cool as a more of a, like an onion shape. But not going to want to do that with all of them. When I play around with them, I'm going to want to try to make a conscious effort to not make them all the same height. I mean, I'm not, but like the ones that are up higher were shorter. So they were are on shorter buildings, so they were all kind of at the exact same height. They're gonna have to be in larger buildings anyways, but I'm more just kind of seeing how it's playing with the whatchamacallit, the Skyline. Cool. So let's just run around for a little bit, and then there's another thing I want to do. So you apparently have a bug where the torch is visible but floating off in space. Time set 7 a.m. Yeah, I'm going to end up making a couple different versions of, like, even if I want this one, if I want this to be taller, I'll have to make a version of it that's taller. But that's all going to be stuff in Maya. That's, ooh, that's some funkiness going on. It's calling the whole player now. I know Ali was trying to fix some of this stuff, so I'm sure there are a few other bugs that got introduced in the process. Because I know, like, hair and stuff like that was disappearing. Oop, I forgot to put that down on the ground. Now, this is not where this would be, but I'm just kind of trying to see it at different scales, at different heights. What is going on here? That's new. Weird. Is it doing it anywhere else? What the hell? It's almost like it's using the nav mesh. Yeah, that's totally... like, broken right there. What is going on? Oh, uh-oh. Yeah, definitely. I don't know what's going on with that. Like, my new geo edits aren't colliding. Is that doing it over here too? That's fine. I didn't do too much with the ground. These work fine. It's the terrain. I'm wondering if I should export the terrain back out and then bring it back in. I'm wondering if it's just getting to that point because I've done so much with it that I've pushed Pro Builder to its limits at this point. Yeah, because that's totally. I mean, there's definitely like seam issues here because I still have to. I haven't gone in and like cleaned all this transition up, but this area of the terrain is just not working. Ooh, I need to level this part out a little bit more. So what I want to do up here, for anybody who hasn't been here, I've already kind of started leveling out some of this stuff. Some of this stuff will end up turning into you know, more streets, and then there'll be some structures and stuff kind of lining the edges of the cliffs. Hey, Goblin. How's it going? So up here could have some housing on this plateau. Could potentially have a house or two. I probably need to actually, instead of having this little kind of crevice, I need to kind of just branch that so that one structure can go up on there, or a couple. Honestly, it's not that big, so it's probably one or two. Hey Goblin, how's it going? I love the silhouettes starting to come in. Yeah, me too. I just brought these in to play around with them. I'm gonna need to make a couple different variations on them for different sizes. But yeah, it's starting to feel like a city. In terms of like layout and like, you know, the breaking up of the silhouettes, the multiple tiers, things like that. And then I don't think I actually sent a screenshot of this. I did this as the front of the temple, just because I wanted to have something there. But I think it turned out pretty good. And then I'm debating. What's that? It's looking dope. Yeah, the backpack looks pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie. I probably have some of my characters that are running around with backpacks. My ranger obviously have quivers. I'm debating. I mentioned this earlier in the stream. I'm debating about pushing this back like a meter and then like building in like a little doorway up here so like players could potentially like walk up and like look over. I might also push this down slightly if I do that, so it ends up being more like a railing as opposed to just kind of like a little decorative facade. But I like that. And then I was thinking even like kind of following along the lines of those sails and stuff that we're using, potentially having something like here kind of draped to this point, and then here draped over to one of the buildings of the tanneries, something like that. Need to get masks on those backpacks. Yeah, I noticed that too. Like, you got the buckles, like whatever color you know your backpack is going to your shovel or your scroll and the knife and the backpack and like the bedroll and stuff. It all ends up being one color. But baby steps. But yeah, so I think if I do build that area, I need to figure out what I want like this interior to look like. But I gotta think of like it's a temple, and I know Sean had this kind of like main room. So right now it's just this giant. It's been like this for months. It's just this giant space with nothing in it. But I'm thinking like this area have like columns and then like a small kind of walkway along the sides, and that could give me the space to play with getting up above there if I really want that as a view players can go look at and explore. And then, you know, potentially we could put like a quest NPC or something up here. Is my music still playing? Okay. Yeah, that's what I when I was building it the other day, the other day. I was up here and was like, oh, that's actually not a bad view. And then, you know, I was debating having like a doorway coming out of here that actually lets the players see that view. But well, let's pop back over. There was one other thing I wanted to do that I've been wanting to do for a bit, and I keep not doing it. I made adjustments to this one building I need to finish, actually, refining that, but this needs to not be overlapping so much. Like a meter on both sides is good, and then it's going to cause this, which I need to fix. So essentially, let's move this back, and we will grab these. And we'll detach them in a second. Maybe the left wall there could be a second room area. To look at the dome. Which part are you talking about, Goblin? Excuse me. Oh, that was gross. Thinking about the last point of view. Back over here. Maybe that left wall could be, or could have a second smaller room to look at the dome. Oh, I don't even know if the dome will be here. I was just kind of throwing these out here to play around with, like, how does it look with the skyline, which I'm really starting to like how these affect the skyline. I just need to figure out how I want to utilize them. Like, do I want them to be, you know, on the ground with the doorway in there? There's really not a lot of space in them, to be honest. Or do I want them to be, like, on top of buildings and, you know, or something kind of like, you know, like that, where it's like the corner of a building or something along those lines. So I need to figure out how I want to utilize them, and that's going to cause me to have to break the model up a bit and figure out, you know, all the uses. But I really wanted to start kind of playing with that, so we could start kind of getting that feeling from your concept and seeing how, like, what works, what doesn't work. So the left rock wall, thinking about looking at the ziggurat. Can talk about it later instead of streaming. Yeah, that's a good point. Where like this is breaking up the rock or breaking up the view of the ziggurat. I was playing around with it more from this angle because I was trying to not have it perfectly even, but where, you know, like it feels kind of rocky and craggy, but it also doesn't feel like one side's like heavily dominant. Originally it was where this side, it was very left or right side heavy, I guess left side of the building, but right if you're looking at it. But that angle actually can probably still be hit by just bringing these walls in. And these rock walls are not like fully realized and finished out anyways. Like up here is completely a mess. And same over here. Slowly but surely I'm like refining the areas as I get to them. But yeah, something more like that. Yeah, I can give a slightly better view. But again, it's one of those things like if I'm going to leave that there and make that determination if I actually go back here and make that little entrance up there. Or on the sides maybe. But let's fix this while I'm at it. So those were detached, that's moved over. This needs to get moved over here. And then these need to be merged. These need to be collapsed back on top of themselves. Oops. And so let's fix the seam that all created. Which screen my stuff is on. That's going to have a seam as well. I almost feel like this area should have like a little protrusion. Just to break the wall up a little bit. Either way, we can talk about it later. Sorry for distracting. Oh, no problem. Not an issue at all, man. I love those little details like that you put. Thanks. Yeah, sometimes I just like something to break up the repetition a bit. Although this is not centered. How much does that just screw up this? Not bad. Okay, let's fix some of this stuff now, because it did cause some issues. So that's 2 off, 2 off, 1 off. Okay, so this was... There we go. Yay for symmetry. Oops. Looks like I did not remember to do the bottom portion. Let's fix that. There we go. Much better. Need to figure out what these bridges are going to look like at some point. I know I did like one tiny little bridge over here that has a little bit of an arch to it, but I don't think this is going to work for all of the bridges. Because most of these bridges are kind of going flat area to flat area. And to be honest, this can probably be more like this. Let me look over here. So is this... It's not using that nav. There's something so weird going on with that terrain. I'm wondering if it's something to do with the script that Ali has on the terrain as well. I'm gonna have to talk to him to figure out what's going on with the collision over here, because if that's an issue where, like, as I move all this other stuff around, I'm gonna need to know what is causing it and how to fix it so that it doesn't become an issue every time I move something. And then I think the walls surrounding the park, I think, are going to be a little bit higher. I think that might actually be one of the next parts I'm going to have to figure out, is the walls around here, just because it'll help balance out some of this stuff. I really do like these little columns. Probably should do something similar on this side of it too, but we'll leave it like that for now, with the idea that this might, depending on what the bridge looks like, these little kind of spots might be over here as well. And then this back. Honestly, you know what? I like it the other. I like it wider. Let's. Keep getting my hotkeys all screwed up. Got used to Maya again, and I'm like, or somewhat used to Maya again, and then I'm like hitting the wrong hotkeys over here now. Cool. Yeah, I think that looks better or works better. Actually, now that I'm looking at this part is not needed here. So let's do that. Move that over. Collapse that down. And then there's still a hole here that needs to get fixed. And there might be a hole over here. Nope. Opposite of a hole. There's a overlap. I have to play with that, whether I want this to stick out a little bit or not. Oops. Okay, so I've got that fixed. Let's finish. I'm going to clean up this a little bit. How long have I been doing world building stuff? In game engines, probably, what is it, 2022? 16 years? something like that. Obviously not on this scale, but like just like, you know, level design and building out worlds and stuff like that. But Night Harbor is definitely the largest, the largest thing I've built. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so 16 years. 2006-ish is probably... That's all... Honestly, that's a guesstimate, but... I'd probably say 2006 is probably about when I first started learning 3D level design and world building and stuff like that. I've been doing a single big mansion thing for Witherhelm, and it's freaking intense already. Yeah, it can get crazy pretty quick. Like, there's so many, like, some of these things I'd love to sit and just, like, do more and more and more details on, but I'm like, I can't do that. I have to keep, like, moving around and making some progress, and I'm trying to, like, get everything, like, in at least, like, a moderately, you know, like, playable state. But, like, part of me is like, oh, I really want to just dive more into, like, building this particular building, or, like, make this, like, bring this to, like, a complete state. But I'm like, no, don't do that. Not yet. Let's not go down the rabbit hole. Honestly, part of us doing the more hand-painted approach, where I'm not sitting here doing all the textures too, is probably beneficial, because otherwise I'd be like building all this detail into texture maps all the time. And I feel like the geo work wouldn't be progressing as at the pace it has been. Self-restraint. Hey Belfaster, how's it going? Is there a type of zone you see yourself calling dibs on building when you get down the line and there's a list of zones to build and maybe multiple people to work on them? Without, like, giving any, like, zone names or anything like that away, I would definitely want to call dibs on more so the like dungeon, a lot of the, like, dungeony zones. I really enjoy working on that type of thing. So shoot, it's not gonna let me do what I want to do. Is it gonna let me slide on the normal? Orientation normal. Oh yeah. One of the times Pro Builder lets me do what I want to do. But yeah, no, definitely. I really enjoy dungeon type zones. Obviously, you know, there's going to be lots of cities, so I'll be doing those as well. But if it's something like I had to choose between doing a city or an outdoor zone or going in and designing a dungeon, I would totally call dibs on the dungeon if I was able to call dibs. Which I assume I would be able to call dibs. I mean, I guess it would depend on what I'm working on and like when it needs to be done and all of that. But if scheduling allowed me to call dibs, I would call dibs. Like a particular vibe dungeon castle. Honestly, I enjoy dungeons, but like castle like dungeon would be cool. Like a haunted mansion a la Unrest style thing could be cool. Those are the ones that like creepy dark dungeon, creepy dark, you know, whatever. Kind of, I mean, I really enjoyed Wormsbane. Obviously, you know, we're still building it out. But Wood Elf area, I could see you doing great with. Wood Elf area is going to be interesting for sure, especially hitting some of that more organic feeling using Pro Builder is going to be fun and irritating. I have a sneaking suspicion both of those words will be used by me multiple times throughout the process. So that was my guess with the whole ranger thing. Maybe he has a human ranger and hates elves. I was a half-elf ranger, so maybe I hated both myself. I don't know. No, I was a half-elf ranger. But I started in Greater Fate Arc, so I guess I was more aligned with my elven roots. Doesn't seem like they would be more fun because it's more like a puzzle, and ways to threat players. Building cities would make it feel more like civil engineering or something. Yeah, it straight up does give that civil engineering feel, especially since we're trying to make them feel more like cities. And a lot of it's about like point of interests and like eye lines and like field of view and stuff like that. So, and wanting that feeling like you're going to get lost in the city, but then also like having main thoroughfares and like, so like, if you're staying on these main roads, it's easy, but then you start kind of getting twists and turns in some of the back alleys and stuff like that. That's kind of the vibe I've been going for. And then, we'll get over to here. I mean, you need to figure out exactly how I want to do the dock area. But obviously there's going to be the dock, and there's going to be like warehouses and all sorts of other stuff in here. And then the ziggurat will be fun as well, I'm sure. And then there's stuff inside the ziggurat that you'll eventually be able to explore. But yeah. Ooh, excuse me. But yeah, definitely all that will be fun to play around with as well. I don't know. I'm sorry. Something was crossing my mind with what I might want to try with the ziggurat, but We'll get to that when we get to it. It's still a ways off. Oop, that was not what I wanted. This is not going to be an easy one to select. Okay, that was easier than I thought it was going to be. I lied. Let's go. No, global. There we go. Oops, did not want to grab that one. Show hidden stone. No, it's off. Okay, should be good. What are you guys playing for fun these days? I tried Guild Wars 2 and just wasn't feeling it. I bought Guild Wars 2 like when it came out. I used to play Guild Wars 1 a ton, because I had a couple friends, me and like 2 or 3 of my, well, me, a roommate, a friend who lived a couple doors down, during college, and my ex-wife, we all had Guild Wars, and we, my one friend who lived a couple doors down also was a lab monitor. Well, I ended up being a lab monitor the next year too, but in college he was a lab monitor, and we would go and like hang out while he was working at the computer lab and play, you know, whatever. And that was one of the things that we played a bunch of. But yeah, Guild Wars 2 did not really hold my attention. I remember I played it, and then yeah, I really just stopped playing it pretty quickly. Part of that though, I think, was just like where my life was at the time, because I was like going through the divorce and all that stuff. So that was not, like, gaming wasn't as big of a priority, and when I would be gaming, I was mostly playing Call of Duty at that point. Right now, I've been playing a lot of Diablo 2 Resurrected, because I was just getting on the team when it came out, and I had it pre-ordered, and I just hadn't really spent a lot of time playing it. And then I went right into playing New World when that released, because I had that also pre-ordered. So hopped into New World for a while. But yeah, I've been kind of just playing Diablo, and been on that nostalgia train, I guess. And then I've also been playing a little bit of Verdun, or I'm sorry, Tannenberg, lately, because Epic gave it away for free. I already had it, but my kids only had Verdun, so my oldest has been asking to play Tannenberg with me, which is a fun game for sure. Different, obviously, but from like most typical shooters, since it's a World War I game, but I enjoy it. Let's see. What are you guys playing? It felt like the game was happening to me, and I wasn't really doing a whole lot. Takes a few steps, point and points, and random currency was flying around on the screen. Yeah, honestly, I don't even remember a whole lot. I don't even think I got out of the tutorial of Guild Wars 2, to be completely honest. I started playing, I was like, ooh, it feels like an MMO. And then like I said, I just, like, shit happened, and I just did not really play. Why is this not... Is there a... Oh, yep. He's not, like, doing operations if there's hidden faces. Hold on a second. Oh, I have the hidden faces not getting selected on still. Like, why did those all of a sudden deform weirdly? Because I told it to. See if I can get this idea to work. If not, I'm just going to revert it. I enjoyed Guild Wars 1. I really enjoyed Guild Wars 1 as well. Like I said, it was a fun thing that we would do in college. The only thing that really drove me crazy about Guild Wars or Guild Wars 1 was that you couldn't jump, and you couldn't jump down stuff, and that drove me insane. like the whole like basically point and click element of it, or you could play it without pointing and clicking, couldn't you? Couldn't you run around, but you just couldn't jump, and that used to drive me insane. I used to get so frustrated because I'm like, I just want to jump down this hill. I'm also one of those annoying people that just jumps around when they're bored and running. So Yeah. That drove me crazy. But other than that, I loved Guild Wars 1. Because that was the one we played a lot of. And then Larry and I also played a bunch of Medieval Total War. The original one, which was a ton of fun. It's also a lot of it was a lot of fun playing it on like a LAN game of it because I vividly remember one time we were sitting there in the lab, and I had set my army. It made it look fairly weak towards the center of it. And then had put all my cavalry in the woods. And like feigned an attack on him with my center, and then started retreating, and he thought he won basically. and like charged in, and I remember just like the look on his face when all of a sudden it was revealing my units coming out of the woods at him, and my cavalry just like straight up went behind him, and his face just went like white, and he's like, damn it. As he knew I just completely crushed it. I was about to crush him. Those were the two games we played a ton of. I also would go in there and like play EQ, but I was the only one really playing EQ out of my college friends. My ex played a necromancer for like a hot second. I think I got her up to like level 50, but she lost interest in it fairly quickly. Cavalry was super satisfying in Total War. Yeah, it was super satisfying. Although, for Cavalry, did you ever play Battle of Middle-earth? That game had super satisfying cavalry, because like you could just like run over stuff and they'd all fall over, and then like the ones that would survive would get back up. So it was just like mowing them down, like zigzagging back. I mean, it was satisfying to watch. It maybe wasn't accurate. But Battlefield Middle-earth was really fun when it came to cavalry, because you could just like it was basically like playing bowling pins with orcs. Or humans. I think you could do it on wargs too. It's been so long since I played that game. Now I'm gonna have to see if my discs will work and I can install it. Whichever had the elephants in it. They might have been Colonial, or did Rome? I didn't play Rome, but it would make sense against Carthage. But I do remember one or two of them did have elephants. I don't think I played those. I played Medieval 1. I think actually I own Rome. I just never played it. I think I got it on like a Steam sale. And then I played the first Warhammer one, which was a lot of fun. Doing a fantasy take on Total War. Rome for sure. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I have that one. It's gonna drive me nuts now. I'm just gonna check my Steam library. um, No, I don't. I just have maybe I have the disc. No, no, I don't. I just have the discs for Medieval 1. I have Medieval 2 and Warhammer in my Steam library, so I ended up buying it on like a Steam sale. I used to get so bad with Steam sales. I'd be like, oh, that's for $2, and then I'd end up like buying a bunch of stuff, and then look at like how much I spent in total, and be like, ooh. So I just try to avoid the sales, unless I see an advertisement that someone's like, oh, this game is now, you know, this, or you know, this amount of money. I'll hop in and snag it, but I try to avoid Steam sales because I tended to splurge more than I probably should. They do a bundle for damn near free. I'll have to put it on my wish list. I'll also do that too, where I'll wish list stuff. And if I get hey, that thing you wish listed is on sale now, I'll pop in, but I try to avoid browsing the store frequently. World coordinates. It's not too bad. I'll eventually be playing with these UVs more, but I just try to keep it from like really obnoxious looking seams or stretching. More often than not, I have a feeling like some of these these mountains that I want to use Pro Builder for, and then maybe enhance with some of these other ones by putting them on top of it. I have a feeling I'll be doing some of just snapping the UVs together in Maya once they're exported out. Alright. So... Is this face actually seen? No, it is not. It can be deleted now. Yay! Actually, this should probably go like that. And at least be like that. We'll figure out more of that later. But essentially, I've got a lot of space to like work. I mean, this is oversized right now. This is probably going to be smaller to some degree. But the idea, unless it's changed, to talk to Sean and Ham. is that, like, the day market is in here, the night market is out there. So, like, people come in here when it's hot outside, but then there's all sorts of, like, little things that are going to be tucked off and around, so we'll have to see. See what we do with that, but it is an old temple, so, you know, there'll be some temple-y like things, but then kind of, you know, stalls and stuff put around. Stoughton, newbie here, how much of what we see in terrain, areas terrain versus pro builder objects, is the desert sand the only terrain? You are actually looking at 100%. Well, 100% is incorrect because some of this stuff was modeled in Maya or SpeedTree and other stuff. But the terrain itself is pro builder. We made a choice to go with that route because it just gives us more of an old school feel, where the terrain is just it's more rounded, more smooth. It honestly takes more work to get it to look like we want it to. So we sacrificed some things in the process of doing that. But yeah, so most of this is all like, you know, this is a pro builder object. This is pro builder. It's all going to be exported out and turned into FBX eventually. But yeah. But yeah, that's the plan. So export it out, bring it back, export it out, do any additional cleanup in Maya, and then we'll do more of that kind of stuff once we get to that point. But yeah, bring it back in so that it's not in the final game. It won't be Pro Builder, but it will have been built with Pro Builder. But yeah, it just the constraints that Pro Builder has, where it's kind of clunky to some degree, kind of helps us hit that old school, like chunky aesthetic that we're going for. Oh, neat. Was one of the things you sacrifice performance, because I imagine terrain in that way is performance reasons, right? Yeah, it probably would have some performance hit. It hasn't been anything too dramatic yet. But yeah, like, you know, the terrain doesn't down res as we get further away from it. So it's not like, you know, down resing. Like the additional trains and stuff in the background will be down resed versions, but you know, you won't be able to run around on that terrain. It'll just be a down resed version of the original terrain, but I'll just decimate that in Maya. But yeah, so you have that. We can't use the foliage brushes that are built into the terrain, so you can't like paint the foliage with that specific stuff. We can use like polybrush to place stuff, but it doesn't have a lot of, like, some of the controls on it aren't great from what I've been playing around with. I really wish we had Unreal's foliage brush, because that literally has everything that I want, and it wouldn't matter if I'm using terrain or not. I could just paint on. I can choose whatever kind of object I want to paint on, and it would just paint on it. But alas, we are in Unity, so. But yeah, there's all sorts of little things like that. But we have, you know, the ability to kind of change stuff up pretty easily. Trying to see how I feel about how this is working. Let's run into the game real quick. Let's see. I haven't really thought about how paintable the train system is. I also imagine foliage isn't a huge concern for you guys either, since you're going for the old school feel, right? Yes, but it helps when you're placing trees and stuff like that, because you can like just click on stuff and basically it'll drop the tree you want it to drop, or and then you can like hand move it. The nice part about it is just the subtle rotations and stuff it gives. Can save you a ton of time overall. Also, the material painting does not carry over, so we need to get a system set up where we can paint down either using vertex color, or I'm gonna have to just make a mask for all of the terrains by hand in like Photoshop or Substance Painter or something like that. And then it's really cool from this angle watching the guards like walk around. Yeah, so that we can actually like paint the paths in. Right now I've just been using Pro Builder and like throwing down like, okay, I want like a path here or a path there, but this isn't, you know, exactly what we want it to be. But yeah, vertex painting itself probably won't work, because if I want like a path walking into here, I don't have all the the terrain isn't at a high enough resolution to allow me to vertex paint all those spots, because you need a vertex to assign a color to for it to know to blend. So it may end up just being a mask. I don't know, but we're gonna have to play around with that part once the terrain is finalized. Yeah, scale up here is fine. Something weird with the leg in the animation now. He's a little like duck-footed. Cool. I think that's working pretty well. And then walk into here. I feel like this might be wider, but then have those columns like I mentioned before. Let's play with that, and that'll probably be about one of the last things I will do for this stream. That's super cool. Thank you for the info. Oh, no problem. Yeah, any questions like that, feel free to ask, and I'll give you the best answer I can at the time. Some of the stuff, you know, we're still kind of proofing out. We're still in the proof of concept phase of this, so some of it might change as we get to new stuff and realize, ooh, that isn't working like we want. So some of that stuff might change, but for the most part, I can at least give you like what the plan is and that kind of stuff. Or things that we're considering. I don't know what kind of... Let's see, how high is this right now? Okay, it's a 2-story walkway. Actually, that's fine. I actually like that being 2 stories walking in. Oop, not stairs. I don't want stairs. I want a box. 2x2x10. Let's move this over here. So we kind of get an idea of what my distances are. Four. Okay, I like that. And then this would need to go 1, 2. 1, 2. Alright, you know what? I'm just gonna do it this way. And then I'm gonna end up moving all these in a minute. So it's happening. And we will move that there. Probably have to do some of this geo. That's what I get for doing this super quickly before. All this stuff is all over the place. And then maybe this might move something more like that. have to figure that out. And these might have a little bit of, you know, something either going on the top, either a trim or like an actual. Oh my god, my art history is failing me right now. Cap at the top of a column. Cap, shaft. Oh my god, my art history is completely escaping me right now. My first year art history teacher is probably rolling over in his grave right now. Cornice, Chipper. Cornice might be what I'm thinking of. God, it's like my brain is just full of cobwebs at this point. I used to have such a sharp memory, and yeah, it just doesn't. My brain doesn't work like it used to. That is for sure. Oh, that perspective made me think I was like right up against the edge of the mountain. I was like, oh, I'm gonna run out of space. I can't remember the difference between Ionic, Doric columns. Doric are the rounded ones. Ionic have like the little where'd my sticky notes go? Wow, that was not symmetrical at all. Let me redraw that. Yeah, it's still not symmetrical, but can you even see that? It's gonna. Come on, killing me. I don't know if you guys can see it. If I get it any closer, it tries to block it out. But it's the ones with the little curves. That's Ionic, and then Corinthian's the one with the. Sometimes the Corinthian will have those, but it's got like all the leaves and stuff like that. It's like super detailed. That I do remember. So I guess I did pay attention somewhat in art history. I think these doorways a little bit larger. Don't want these in the middle though. Ooh, I should go the other direction. That's a lot of space to cover. Famous last words. I'm going to say that now, and then be like, oh, I ran out of space. Yeah, I can see it. Made you look like you had a deep no eyes for a second. That's awesome. At one point, I really wanted to do a like a Snapchat filter or something that I could integrate into the stream that would give me deep gnome eyes, but I haven't had the time to actually like sit down and figure it all out. Is that even... Nope. Okay, so I need to go up 2 more. So it needs to be that. Actually needs to be above that. It needs to be at least that. So then these... Not that. Or that. Or that. You do a move like that. There we go. Thanks for the refresher. No problem. I do remember one thing. Again, it's been a while since I've had to take an art history class. And the ones that were like classical were much longer ago. And it had to have been 18-ish years ago now. Damn. Long time. Stoughton, thanks for the subscription. I appreciate the support. I'll have to figure out what I want to do with the spaces up here. Again, I'm just kind of freestyling this. So, some of this might get axed, some of this might get used in different spots, but a lot of space. I'm glad I did not go this way because that would still be a lot of space to cover. Let's make our way down from here. Oop. There we go. We'll center that a little bit better, at least for this one. Again, this might change later. This is one of those things that, like, creatively I like to sleep on some stuff. Kind of come back to it with a fresh set of eyes later. Sometimes you find, at least I find that, like, I can approach it from a different standpoint, like mentally, and sometimes that is what I need. Oops. Oh my goodness, come on. Oh my god. There we go. I can use a mouse. I feel like I could do something else in here too, but I'm gonna not try to get too fancy. At least yet. Let's take a look at scale real quick, and then I'm probably gonna end up calling it a stream, because I'm getting hungry and I need to figure out what I'm going to be doing for dinner. Okay. So obviously we have some weird glitchy type stuff going on right now, so apologize for that. Let's take off our... Feels right. Now, depending on how we do, like, stalls and stuff in here, I might, like, take out every other column. But we'll see. This space could be expanded out just a bit. Yeah, that works. I almost feel like this could go down and this could end up being part of like a ramp up. Still get that view. That slight little indent right there really does help. The problem is when I add buildings right here, it's gonna break up some of that. But it is what it is. Cool. Alright, guys. Like I said, I think I'm going to call it a day, because I kind of got what I wanted to do done. Thanks for hanging out with me. For anybody who's new and isn't aware of what we're working on, we're working on a classic MMO that's based on kind of the first generation of MMOs. So think late 90s, early 2000s era of MMORPGs. The game is called Monsters and Memories. That is our website. If you'd like to follow the link to that, you can learn all sorts of different things about the game, see images, videos, stuff like that. Also, if you have any questions that were not answered on there, feel free to hop into our Discord. We've got over 1,200 people in there now. There's always some kind of conversation going on, whether it's about our game, ideas for the game, questions about the game, just game design in general, other MMOs, that type of thing. There's channels for like tabletop gaming and stuff like that as well. So hop on in. All of the developers are in there. We answer questions and things like that. So feel free to hop in. We'd love to have you as part of the community. If you'd like to stay up to date without joining the Discord, feel free to click that link for the mailing list. You'll get, when we put out updates, you'll get an update. Sometimes we'll do surveys, things like that. Also, when we get to testing, it'll be tied to testing. So if you are interested in helping us test stuff out, make sure to sign up if you haven't already. These are the other members of the team that stream. Everybody has their own kind of particular area of the development. My streams are primarily level design and environment art based. Sean's, which is a loving robot, is he'll do overviews to show off everything that everyone's done. He'll help us out with different things, like he's blocked out zones for me as I'm like refining the city. He's helped Zukin with animations and getting placeholder animations in, so things like that. He'll do on his stream. We'll also do play tests from time to time on his stream. Goblin does concept art and animation, occasionally some modeling, stuff like that. Did I say textures? I think I did. But yeah, and then Nick will do Q&A and development streams from time to time. And Ali actually uploaded stuff to our YouTube, which I'm behind on. I apologize. I need to get that up again. I'm getting so bad with getting the YouTube. I was in that rhythm initially, and I fell out of that rhythm, and I gotta get back into it. But anyways, so if you want to get caught up on any of our VODs, we put them up there. So you can get caught up. There's hundreds and hundreds of hours of game development VODs up there now, from all the different streamers and the different aspects of the game. If you are watching on YouTube, please remember to like and subscribe, comment below, click the bell, all that fun stuff to help us out with the algorithm, to help get the game out to more people. We really appreciate the support, so thank you for doing that. If you are also watching on YouTube and you want to participate in any of my live chats, there should be a link somewhere down below in the description to my Twitch channel, Paytas the Ranger. Just throw that a follow. You'll get a notification whenever I go live, and feel free to hop in. Always, love talking to new people in the community, and if you have questions or anything like that, whether it's about what I'm doing or how the tools and stuff work, more than willing to answer any of those types of things. So look forward to you joining. My streams are typically Monday nights, 8 p.m. Oh, excuse me, I'm starting to get hiccups again. It's always the end of streams. Anyways, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mondays, Wednesday 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then Fridays 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Friday ones are probably going to be going away soon because work is going to be starting back up, and I have to prep a VFX course. So I'm going to be doing some more work outside, prep work for classes that are going to be running next semester that I haven't taught before. So got a little bit more upfront stuff to do than typical. But other than that, thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Had a lot of fun. And I will catch you guys next time. Later. Oops, I almost hit close game and not close stream. That would have not been helpful. Bye again.